Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is Haley from Comfort Food Community, and I'm super excited to be bringing you our first virtual edible education cooking lesson. So thank you to Emily for having me today, and let's get started. So today we're going to be making some healthy banana bread. So I'm sure everyone has heard of banana bread, and if you're like me, during this time at home, I've been doing a lot of cooking and baking and hanging out in my kitchen. So I figured it would be a good idea today to show you how I like to make my banana bread. So let's start with the basics. First, I preheated my oven to 325 degrees. I like to do this while I prep my other ingredients just to make everything a little bit more easy, a little bit more organized. First, I've mashed 2 large ripe bananas. A tip with banana bread is that using overly ripe bananas is actually really great. So those bananas that are just starting to get mushy, maybe a little bit brown, those are awesome for your bread. Here I have 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder. Here I have 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. If you have a gluten intolerance, if you prefer to go gluten-free, you can use any kind of flour, so maybe an almond flour, anything will work. Here I have 1/4 cup of almond milk. You could use regular milk, you could also use Greek yogurt. Here I have olive oil, roughly about 1/2 cup of olive oil. You could also use coconut oil or any kind of vegetable oil will work. I then have 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Another great substitution for that would be honey. And then I have 2 large eggs, and then I have my salt. And then over here, I have a little bit of cacao powder. So this is gonna be my extra ingredient to spice up my bread a little bit. You could use chocolate chips, you could use cocoa powder, that's good for baking, walnuts, raisins, anything you want. So now we're gonna work with our dry ingredients. So I'm going to mix my flour, my baking powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna mix that together in a small to medium bowl. And then I'm going to set that aside for now. Next, in a larger bowl, I'm going to add my eggs, which I've done. I'm going to then add my oil, my milk, and my maple syrup. I'm gonna beat this together for about 2 minutes or so, so you just want it to be mixed together really well. Okay, so I finished mixing together my wet ingredients. All those ingredients are different consistencies, so you want to mix them enough so that everything is together. You shouldn't see, your oil on one side of the bowl, and you shouldn't see any egg yolk, so everything should be mixed together nicely. After that's done, I'm going to add my bananas to the bowl. I'm going to mix those in just a little bit. And then I'm going to take that flour mixture that I made earlier. I'm going to add that as well. And then I'm going to top that off with my cacao powder. And then I'm going to mix that all up. Once again, different consistencies, so you want to make sure that everything is mixed well. It's okay if it's a little bit lumpy, but for the most part, you should have a fairly smooth mixture of all of your ingredients. Okay, so I've given that a good mix, and I can show you it looks nice and smooth, okay? It's okay if you have a little bit of lumpiness in there from your bananas, that's totally fine, but for the most part, I have a really kind of velvety mixture. Okay, so once you have that mixture ready to go, you want to decide what you'd like to bake your banana bread in. So traditionally, you would probably use a 9x5 loaf pan, but you can mix it up just like the ingredients. Today, I'm actually going to make banana bread donuts. I have this really cool little donut mold that makes making donuts super easy. You could also make muffins. You can make it into a little cake by using like a brownie pan. Whatever you want, it'll still come out tasting great. Okay, so I have scooped my batter into my little donut mold, and now I'm going to bake these for around 50 to 55 minutes. So you might want to set a timer for like 45 minutes or so. Just check on them, make sure that they're doing okay. And before you pop them in the oven, if you want to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top, maybe some little banana slices, some raw sugar, whatever you have, that's cool too. So I'm going to pop these in the oven. And then we wait. Okay, so I just took my banana bread donuts out of the oven and they're looking delicious. So I'm gonna let them cool for about 10 or 15 minutes and then I'm gonna add a final touch. So I melted a little bit of semi-sweet chocolate, and now for a little treat, I am drizzling it on top of my banana bread donuts. Because you can never have too much chocolate, and you don't have to do this, but you can. And again, that's what's so fun with the banana bread. You can mix, match, spice it up however you want. So my banana bread turned into chocolatey banana donuts.